Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for having this hearing today. I had a couple questions maybe to follow up on the issue of resource constraints. I've heard requests over the years for the increased use of technology to expedite gas pipeline inspections and safety monitoring. It might be a little bit of a double-edged sword, but with respect to cyber, but I'll get to that with Mr. Russell. But Mr. Elliott, are there technologies you think need to be incorporated so that industry and regulators can better evaluate pipeline safety, particularly given the resource constraints we see at TSA?
Congressman, thank you for the question. The short answer is yes. If I can elaborate, I will tell you that in my year and a half as the administrator of PHMSA, but backed by many years in the rail industry where we saw technology move in leaps and bounds, I've seen the same thing in the use of technology to help quickly expand the capabilities of inline pipeline inspection technology. One concern that I have with that is even as good as it is, it's still not perfect. Much of the inline inspection tools that are in place today, and again, the level of sophistication is amazing, really focus on three purposes. One is to extend the usable life of the infrastructure. The second actually is to help reduce the amount of actual physical inspections that have to be done, thereby reducing costs. And the third is an absolute tangible improvement in safety. At PHMSA, we focus on trying to encourage the research and development, both with the dollars that we have that go into R&D and what we encourage industry to do, to really focus first and foremost on the absolute safety value there. One of the criticisms we get is PHMSA's inability to move quickly to get out of the way of industry to implement this new safety technology. And I would agree with that. I think our special permitting process is a bit slow, and part of the language that we're trying to look at in reauthorization will help speed that up. But I do think that technology will continue to expand at a rapid pace and will continue to improve pipeline safety.
And you think that that's something that's being taken care of by industry, or do you think that Congress needs to take action in that?
Congressman, I do believe that's something that industry is taking care of themselves because it benefits the ability to, as I mentioned, to extend the life of the infrastructure and help reduce inspection costs. I will tell you that at PHMSA we spend our R&D dollars more on what we consider to be step change R&D, maybe not the safe R&D. For example, one of the R&D efforts that recently has been successful in dollars that we put in is the ability to locate plastic pipe. Distribution lines are going more to plastic pipes. You can't use the same technology to locate the pipes. So we'd like to see more industry dollars go to some of that more step change safety that's not really being focused on as much.
I didn't hear you explicitly mention leak detection as one of the purposes, the objects of the technology, but I assume that would be covered as well.
Yeah, I do think, and again, in my time, I've been relatively impressed, at least in the leak detection capabilities that exist in control rooms, but probably more to your point, there's more that I think that can be done to identify smaller, some of those imperceptible leaks which tend to plague the industry. I think the larger releases, the systems seem to do a very good job. But you're probably correct, both with the inline inspection capabilities that might identify issues before they ever turn into a leak. All of that, I think, with time will continue to reduce the likelihood of both large-scale leaks and small leaks.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Russell, in terms of lethality and cost of recovery, are pipelines in America more at risk from a cyber attack or a physical attack?
I think there are definitely physical security concerns, as we've seen with environmental groups and others that caused damage. But the cyber threat is one that is ever emerging and ever evolving, and I think that's one where we thought there's more that could be done.
Let me ask you this, because I have about a minute left. As industry continues to deploy technology, how should the government make sure that, from a cyber perspective, that our citizens are protected? Because, I mean, technology is the point at which, where bad actors tend to try to make those inroads. What do you think is the role for the government, either administrative or the Congress, to make sure that we protect our citizens from a cyber attack?
Sure, I think it boils down to robust oversight. So Do pipeline operators understand what their operating systems are, their control systems,
Right.
SCADA systems, the industrial control systems that would be the point of attack? And have you adequately protected those? Anything that government can do to put out a framework. So, for example, the NIST did
I got
that.
4 seconds left, so I appreciate the answer. I would say, let's continue to work on that together. Thank you for showing up. And when you say oversight and we have the TSA not showing up, obviously that frustrates the purpose of the ability of us to do oversight. So I just note that for the record as well, and I yield back.